Parents, it is in our nature to worry about our kids. We're worried about almost every aspect of their development. And if we weren't, then we wouldn't be very good parents, would we? Now, when it comes to getting ready for kindergarten, a lot of folks are worried whether or not their kids are going to be bored in kindergarten if they already come into kindergarten knowing how to read. What are they going to work on, right? If they've already got the most important skill, what are they going to do the rest of the time? And I'm here to tell you, while there are a million things we can and should be worried about for our kids, being worried about whether or not your kid is going to be bored in kindergarten is the wrong thing. Let's think about what actually happens in kindergarten. You pack your kid up, you get their lunch, put them in the car, drive them to school, day one, okay? What's going to happen? Number one, they're going to need to be able to follow a teacher's directions. You're going to hand them off to someone else who's going to be giving them instructions. Come in, put your lunchbox down, sit at the desk. Can they follow that teacher's instructions? Number two, can they function and operate without you there? Can they follow someone's directions? Can they interact with friends? Can they have a good time minus the parent, minus that attachment? Can you drop them at the door, have them go and have no problem? Number three, they're going to be asked to do some academic tasks. It might not be reading, it might not be math on day one, it might be coloring, but they're going to need to know some kind of academic tasks, be able to color in the lines or be able to write their name or to be able to do all of those sorts of things, okay? Number four, there's going to be social skills. They're going to have to talk with other kids, play with other kids, make friends, share, communicate, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot going on here. Number five, they're going to need to know how to organize their materials, how to keep things in the right place, put it in their seat sack or put it in their desk and take it out. There's so much going on in kindergarten, and those five things aren't even touching the list. And if you look at your little one's day in kindergarten, they spend 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours, sometimes some places in charter schools, they're spending 10 hours in school during the day. That reading block is probably at maximum 45 minutes of that time. The time that your child spends doing the reading is probably 20 minutes of that 45. The other time is the teacher reading to the class, which is super interesting and is super fun for kids, regardless of the reading level. And you're looking at a small period of the day, maybe 20 minutes, where your child is actually having to do reading work with that thing that you thought would make them bored. But what do you think is more likely? That your kid is going to come in knowing how to read and that reading time is boring? Or that they're going to come in knowing how to read, and that means that they have access to all the books in the classroom to read? I'll tell you this straight up. If you're watching this video and you are seriously wondering this, my kid is 5 years old. He's going to be entering kindergarten at a third grade reading level. He's been reading since he's 2. Why did we do it? If that was going to make him bored in kindergarten, why did we do it? We did it because we are both former kindergarten teachers. We have seen the difference it makes when a child enters kindergarten knowing how to read and when they enter kindergarten not knowing how to read. And it is far, far, far more likely that your kid will enter kindergarten bored if they don't know how to read. They're going to be looking for other things to do during that reading time because it is going to be overwhelming. The bored behavior you're going to see is going to be them acting out, them trying to get out of lessons, them trying to escape the learning because it's overwhelming. And not only will it show up in reading, it will show up in writing, it will show up in math during word problems, it will show up in every single aspect of the day. Your kid will know they are behind. They will feel that they're behind and they're going to try and escape that learning instead of plugging themselves in. And when you're out of the learning, that's when you get bored. But when you send your kid knowing how to read, it means they can read the math word problems and solve them. It means they can read the books and have everything be on limits for them. It means they understand what's going on around them and it builds their confidence. And it is really hard to be bored in something that you are good at. Very easy to be bored in something that you don't understand. So when you're thinking about whether or not to teach your kid to read before kindergarten, during kindergarten, or after kindergarten, I'm not here to tell you do it before. That's your choice. I'm here to tell you that if you do it before, you don't have to worry about them being bored. There is so much other stuff going on during the day for them to pay attention to, for them to focus on that is not reading. And even during that reading time, it is far more likely that they're going to enjoy the lesson. Now, if you're looking for things to be worried about, you're sitting at home, you're like, oh, Spence, okay, I've got to have some stuff to worry about if I can't worry about this. Worry about your kid being safe. Worry about your kid making friends. Worry about whether or not your kid is bullied, whether or not your teacher's experienced, right? There's all this other stuff that you can be worried about that is real, right? Teacher quality really matters. Social skills and whether or not your kid can make friends really matters. Their safety at school, how often they're being monitored, the size of the class, all this stuff matters. But being bored in kindergarten because you are too smart, that's a joke. It is a joke. And I know there's a couple people, there's like 3 of you, and you're gonna comment, and you're gonna say, my kid's bored in kindergarten, they're too smart. They're not. Your kid is misbehaving. There is a difference. Not every misbehavior is because of boredom. Behavior is a skill. Focusing and paying attention is a skill. Following teachers' directions is a skill. And if you did not spend the first 5 years of your child's life developing their ability to focus, pay attention, follow directions, then what you're hearing from the teacher right now in those parent-teacher conferences is blank and blank isn't following directions. Blank and blank isn't paying attention. And you've got 2 choices. You look at yourself in the mirror and you say, you know what? I need to teach them how to follow directions. We need to work on this. Or you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? It's not my fault. They're too smart for school. I'm just being real because this is what people say. My kid is misbehaving because they're too smart. I'm telling you, they are not. Your kid is not too smart for school. Your kid is not bored because they're smart. Your kid is bored because there's another skill they need to work on, okay? There's something else they need to learn how to do. There is too much going on around, even during a simple reading lesson where the teacher reads a book and asks questions. There are so many opportunities to dig into that story, to talk with friends about that story, to ask a question to the teacher about what's going on. But just saying, okay, no. They're not paying attention. They're not asking questions. They're talking with a friend. They're doing something else because they're bored. Highly unlikely. Okay. Now, again, the choice is yours. Do it or don't do it. I'm just here to let you know the facts. Ask any kindergarten teacher, 9 out of 10. Okay. There's always gonna be 1. 9 out of 10 are going to tell you no. It is much, much, much better. They are much more likely to be interested if they come into kindergarten knowing how to read. So if you're interested in that, y'all, again, you don't have to. If you're interested, I'm the dude to teach you how to do this. I've got a free workshop. It's in the description. You can take that. I've got full paid courses. You can buy those. I will help you get your kid reading. If you put in the time and the energy, it works, okay? The courses work when you do. So if you want to teach your kid how to read, I got you covered. If you're not sure, check out my videos. See, I've got lots of videos for how to get started. Watch it. If it looks like it's going to be fun, engaging, helpful for your little one, jump in. If not, don't do it at all. And if you're already watching this video, you're like, Spence, my kid is too young, or we're not ready, or it just doesn't feel right, don't do it, y'all. Completely your choice. As I said at the beginning of the video, there's lots of things to be worried about. Teaching your kid to read before kindergarten shouldn't be one of them, okay? This is only if you want to do it, and if you want to do it, I can help you out. So I hope this clarifies things. Share this with someone who's giving you bad feedback in your life. Tell them, no, my kid is gonna be A-okay, and until next time, I'll talk to you soon.